They say you are what you consume. And you, my friend, are consuming the foulest concoction of garbage history has ever seen. Yes, you specifically. Not him, not her, you. Have you really looked at what you've been taking in lately? Have you looked at the music, the video games, what you're reading, the news you're listening to? Oh, you know, I can hear you protesting now. It's not that bad, it's just a little bit of doomer content, a little bit of corporate propaganda, just a little bit of content so sexualized it would kill a 5th century nun. You know, you're not that convincing. I know you don't believe it, and you're not fooling me. I know because I'm a victim to it too. I fall for the same traps and pitfalls. I try really hard to be pretty conscious of what I'm taking in, but even then, these algorithms these days, they're crazy. They know you better than you do. It doesn't take much for, my algorithm to suddenly just change on a dime. And before I've realized it, I'm in a dark place. And all the media that's being recommended to me is just sinister, sad, depressing stuff. And before I was conscious of it, that was really scary. But now I use it as a tool because I can recognize it. I can see that when my feed is becoming a little too dark, a little too grim, I'm like, okay, look, something's going on up here and that needs to change. It's time for a break. Get off the socials, get off YouTube for a couple days, reset, and look at that. Works a treat. So, what I want to talk about today is media diet. And that's the sort of things that you're taking in, maybe without realizing it. I'm not sure where I first heard the term, but I really like it. It's really stuck with me, and I use it all the time now. So what is a media diet? I like to think of it as all of the things that you're sort of consuming. So that's social media, TV, videos, content, music, news, advertising. Pretty expansive. Media is a big word that can mean a lot of things, but anything that fits under that bracket, that's your media diet. That's what you're consuming. So, what are you taking in? When's the last time that you stopped to really consider the music you're listening to, the news you're watching, social media, the content creators that you're following, the kind of shows that you're watching on repeat? Have you thought about the impact that advertising is having on you? Maybe it has. Maybe it hasn't. But what I can tell you is that all of these things have a really big impact on you. They have more influence over your life than you probably realize. And it's worth taking a look at. And again, I'm victim to this. I'm aware of this because I'm incredibly susceptible to being influenced by the media I consume. Probably more so than your average person. So it was something that I had to come to terms with pretty quickly. It started with books. When I was a young person, a teenager, I was really into reading like the most dark, twisted fiction that I could find. Like anything that was kind of grim dark, anything that was just sinister. I loved it, like horror type of media. That was my bag. And lo and behold, I was a pretty dark, grim kid, Is that a chicken or the egg thing? Was the grim kid consuming grim media, or was the grim media making a grim kid? Different argument for a different day. Who knows? What I do know is that the media didn't help. I can guarantee that. Reading all these books about dark Machiavellian characters wasn't helping at all. Guarantee it. So that began to change though. Well, or at least I began to notice it better when I read a certain book. If you've heard of it, congrats. If you haven't, I'm not surprised. It's I think it's Korean, Chinese perhaps, called Trash of the Count's Family. Now, if you've read that, you can have a go at me for mischaracterizing it, whatever. But basically the entire story, the main character kind of just gets through everything by befriending everyone. He makes friends with different characters along the way, and when a big conflict happens, those previous characters come in and help him out. Big oversimplification, but that's what I took away from it. And what I really took away from it was I noticed that after reading that book, I was being friendlier to people. I was fostering relationships in better ways. I was spending more time listening to others and caring and being a good person. And I was like, hang on a minute. This is quite different than what I was doing before. What's going on? And I began to take it in. What happened next was, social media, COVID in particular. I remember during COVID, I was on social media all the time. I was locked in my house. There was nothing I could do, and I had just awful rotation. I'd wake up in the morning or maybe early afternoon, get on Facebook, sit on there for hours, scroll and scroll, scroll, just consume, run out of stuff on there, close it, open up Instagram, do the same, and then scroll, repeat. And it was just grim stuff, like not the sort of stuff that was healthy to be consuming. And even the bits that were, there was just far outweighed by the bits that were bad. And so, I made the decision to cut it all out and get off social media, and haven't really been back since. And my life's better for it. The next sort of area is music. Now, not to sound too much like a conservative housewife from the 1980s, 90s, but have you really listened to the kind of music they're playing on radios today? I'm telling you, I do everything I can to avoid it. It's just poison, like literal poison. And look, I'm not going to critique you on the kind of music you're listening to too hard, but I really do implore you to just take a minute to really listen to the lyrics, to what they're conveying, and then think about what it is that you want from life, the kind of person that you want to be, and just see if those lyrics and those goals and aspirations line up. Because if they don't, I'd be really cautious around the impact that music is having on you. This is a big one for me even now. I'm trying to be really conscious of the music I take in, keep it not even happier. Sometimes I do listen to sad stuff, but at least keep the messaging good, healthy, not just the most repugnant, vile stuff imaginable. It's really hard, but music has that hypnotic effect and it gets in your head, and I think it has, I haven't seen anything about this, any numbers or stats or whatever, but I have a strong suspicion that music is incredibly influential. There's a lot to be said there. It's probably more than I could even unpack, but I guess the takeaway from that is just really do have a look at the music you're listening to and what it's telling you and what it might be influencing you towards. After music, there's the really tricky one. Advertising. Advertising is different than books, music, social media, because you have a lot less control over what you're exposed to. And this is $1 billion industry, maybe even trillion. Who even knows? Whatever the numbers are, who cares? Lots of money goes into mind control, because that's what advertising is to an extent. The psychologist to advertiser pipeline is very real. One of the first big advertisers was Freud's grandson or something. It's crazy. But the people that work in this industry are incredibly intelligent, and they have more resources than any of us could imagine. And their entire job is to get inside your head and impact the way you think, believe, and act. I don't know about you, but I don't think I can beat that. I don't think that's a game I can win. And so I try my best to just not play. I do what I can to just not be exposed to advertisements. I don't really listen to the radio because it's just ads. I don't watch TV because it's just ads. I use ad blockers on everything. I use a lot of YouTube. That's my crux. I pay for YouTube Premium. Yeah, I'm a sucker. Yeah, it's expensive. But it means I don't have to put up with ads. And considering how much I use YouTube, entirely worth it. Entirely worth it. Just do what you can to minimize your exposure to ads or at least be aware, because they're insanely powerful, they're insanely well-resourced, and they're incredibly smart. So just be cautious of that. That's all I can say. So to bring all of this into land, I guess I want you to have a better look at your media diet, what it is that you're consuming, how that could be affecting you, and if it's lining up with the kind of person you want to be. I think you probably already knew a lot of this, you know? And I can't force you to change your behavior, and I can't, make you do anything. What I can do is bring some of this stuff to your attention, and then I'm going to leave it up to you. The ball is in your court. So, what are you going to do?